Alright, YouTube gods. Can I have my comments on this video, please? God, anytime YouTube gives me any kind of issue, I feel like, do you guys remember The Price is Right, where they used to play that one game where they'd be like, oh, why is sound effects lady?
Oh, mighty sound effects lady.
Do I have two numbers right? Anyway, I'll stop complaining. There's a lot more things to be excited about than complain today. You guys are, hopefully, I'm praying to God, seeing this video on May 4th, the sacred holiday of a fandom. I'm filming this video on May 2nd, which is the 1-year anniversary of the first video that I ever posted on this channel, so it's been a year, guys. I can't believe it. And today, to honor the occasion, we're covering the second of those weird Ewok movies that they made in the 80s. Because a few months back, I covered the first one called Ewoks, the Caravan of Courage or something like that. I'll link it if you haven't seen it. And I jokingly was like, Disney, I dare you to put it on Disney Plus. And then they did, which 100% had nothing to do with me. But I'd like to think that I helped manifest that into existence. If you don't feel like going back and watching the first video and you just want to vibe, the only thing you really need to know there are these two kids. They got separated from their parents, and then with the help of the Ewoks, they found their parents again and learned the power of family. There you go, you're caught up. So the movie starts off with Sindel, the little girl from the first movie, and Wicket, the little Ewok child. They're running in the woods, they're playing, they're buddies.
Tell your mother I got the main unit repaired.
Her family is about done fixing their ship from the first movie so they can finally go home.
We're gonna have to say goodbye.
So she's having a conversation with her pal Wicket about having to leave, and Wicket and the other Ewoks are still terrifying like they were in the first movie, but I don't know. The friendship between Wicket and Sindel is cute, so it's not so bad this time around, I guess.
Wicket go to school.
Okay, I semi-take it back. Those eyes are still haunting. And not in the way things are haunting in an indie song. Like this will haunt my nightmares haunting.
What's wrong? Shh. Danger.
So after this conversation, they hear commotion, they run back to the camp, and they are completely under attack by people in very fake-looking rubber masks. The Ewoks are trying to fight off the bad guys. It's not going so well for the Ewoks.
Get back, Sindel.
Oh, and that's the big brother from the first movie.
Mommy.
Stay away.
Oh no, and that's the mom from the first movie. Yeah, they died. You know that whole thing about the first movie being about family and how important it is? They died. Meanwhile, the dad is being held by this lady and her scary friends. They are tearing the ship apart, trying to find, like, his power source or something.
I want the power. You will give it to me now.
That's basically what this whole movie is about. They're after this one, like, power source.
Reject!
He kind of gets away, but he gets shot. And then this lady turns her magical arcade ring and then melts away.
Mommy and Mace, they're dead.
Neither of them have the level of upsetness that I feel like they should have.
The Ewoks help you.
So before the dad dies, he tells her to stick with the Ewoks because they're her family now. It's very sad.
Don't look back, just run fast. Run.
Kid, what did I just say? He said don't look back. So Sindel gets away and then her dad dies. So her whole family is dead. The whole plot of the first movie more or less does not matter because her whole family is dead.
There's no escape for you, my little one.
Oh, never mind. She got away for like a second and then they caught her.
Oh, Wicket, it's you.
But she's with the Ewoks, so that's something.
I'm all alone. Not alone. Wicket, take care of Sindel.
Alright, that's a really sweet sentiment, Wicket, and everything, but like, I don't know that you're qualified for childcare.
Wicket, Sindel's family now.
Are the Ewoks gonna like homeschool her? What's the situation here?
I could fit, and he could fit. I know he could.
So the Ewoks find a hole in the bottom of their cage, and the only two that are small enough to fit through are Wicket and Sindel. So they send them. And somehow, with all of these armed guards and people around, nobody sees these two children run away. This girl and her angry teddy bear just scamper off into the woods and no one says anything. Okay, never mind. That guy's saying something. So they get chased through the woods and up onto this ledge. And then the bad guys get knocked off the ledge. Bye.
Safe now. But we're trapped. Find way out.
I love how Wicket's like, we're safe. And Sindel's like, we're trapped in a cave. Like a lot of feet in the air. And Wicket's like, psh, semantics.
Oh no. We can't get down this way.
Technically you could, but it's not recommended in any way. Very high up. Makes me nauseous to look at. So they kind of camp out in this cave. Sindel goes to sleep in the dirt, poor kid, while Wicket is building one of the Ewoks' patented hang gliders, because that is a thing that they have in both of these movies. Hang gliders. And this stop-motion monster dinosaur thing shows up, and Wicket kind of waves a stick at it. And then it takes Sindel. He takes off after them in his hang glider. See how handy those things are? You dropped the kid! Oh my god. Wait, so how did he catch her like that? Because he was like way behind her and then he just managed to swoop down, and I'm glad that worked out. I don't know the physics involved, but I'm glad it worked out. So they crash in the woods.
Sindel, safe now.
I mean, define safe now, Wicket. You can hear like ambient growling in the woods behind you. The next morning, they're woken up by this critter. He runs a little fast for my comfort level. I can't really explain it, but it just stresses me out.
Maybe he knows where we can find food.
But the little guy is helpful. He takes them back to his house so that they can eat.
Somebody does live in here. They sure are messy. Yep, messy.
And then they assume that the house is abandoned, and they're just like, wow, what a trash fire this house is. And the poor little guy is like, hey. He doesn't actually seem that offended himself, but I'm offended for him.
If nobody lives here anymore, we can clean up and this could be our house.
So then they just decide to move themselves in.
How'd you get here?
He brought us here.
And then, of course, the main owner of the house shows back up, and he's like, what? Why are all these people in my house?
You nasty little bug lover. I've told you and I've told you I don't want no strangers around this place. And look what you done. You brought them here and you don't even know who they are. Who are you? I don't want you here. Get out.
Okay, I know the whole situation is very strange and you have a right to be upset, but like, they're kids. They're like 5-year-olds, or I don't actually know how Ewoks age, but I think he's like the equivalent of a 5-year-old. Go easy on him is all I'm saying.
Go on.
Come on, Wicked. He doesn't want us here. He's just a mean old man anyway. Come on.
So he just like kicks him out of the house and he's like, my house. Get out of here.
It's my house. These are my things. I don't want no strangers around here.
And then he feels bad.
If I did let them stay, first thing you know, they'd want to be friends or something.
Yeah, those pesky friends. It's an epidemic, man. And then he just finds a bunch of food that they made in his oven. I don't know which one of them was tall enough to put that up there, but that's there.
Dig in.
You're not even going to share with the kids that you just kicked out? They were the ones that made it. Because this guy wants to be a big tough guy, but he also isn't, and he is concerned about Sindel and Wicket. He tells his friend / pet.
Don't let me catch you giving none of them muffins to them little beggars outside, you hear me?
He tells the little woodland creature, man, it sure would be awful if you ran some food out to them while my back was turned. So he does. And then that night while they're building a fire and Wicket's about to light his own ass on fire, poor Wicket.
All right, what are you two little wood rats trying to do? Burn down the whole forest?
He invites them in, but instead of just like doing it like a nice person, he's just like, hey, you scary Build-A-Bear, you're doing the fire thing wrong. Build a fire inside. So they curl up on the comfy looking wood floor and they go to sleep.
Help, Endor! Help! Help!
Jeez. God, I hate jump scary things. I'm so easy to scare, apparently.
Wicket!
So she wakes up from this nightmare. And because Noah's such a softie, he lets them sleep on the bed and then he, I guess, sleeps on the floor. Good guy, Noah.
All right, I think now it's time for you two to run along home.
The next morning, he tells Wicket that they need to leave. I thought Wicket would say something like, we've lost our family and, we have nowhere to go, really. But instead, all he says is wise words. Meanwhile, the witch lady from before is holding audience with the creepy monster king. I don't know exactly what or who he is.
It is the power I have searched for.
I swear I can see the actor's actual mouth through the mask. Am I crazy? Am I seeing things?
I have waited long enough. You will discover its magic.
No, I'm definitely not seeing things.
If only you hadn't let that child escape. She must know its secrets.
How dare you suggest that I am to blame?
Anyway, he screams at this lady. He tells her that they need the power source. He does not use his inside voice. And then Noah, this guy, he gets back, and he thinks Wicket and Sindel have left, and he's trying to pretend that he's happy about it, even though he just brought them back 2 beds.
I thought maybe you needed a new bed, and I forgot how big you were, so I made 2 of them. One that size and one that size.
Uh-huh. Sure. But then they come back and they're like, hey, we found these sketchy berries in the woods. We could make a pie.
We can make a pie.
And then they all make pies. And nothing happens. Like, they're apparently really good berries that you make pies with in the Star Wars universe. But I don't trust any situation where somebody comes back from the woods and is like, I found random things growing. Let's cook with it.
Oh, tired.
I just realized what Wicked's voice reminds me of. He reminds me of Jack Jack, the little mouse from Cinderella.
Those are awful good pies, Sindel. The best I ever had.
The best pie he ever had was made by a couple of small children. Either they're prodigies at pie making, or he's just really always had shitty pies. The next day he leaves and tells them to do a bunch of chores, and then instead of doing the chores, they just follow him to see where he's going. How does nobody notice these kids? They're not very stealthy. They finally get to this big ship.
Oh, look what it is. Let's go look closer.
And I love it. Sindel's like, wow, look what it is. And Wicket's like, what is it? And she's like, and then Wicket gets stuck in a booby trap.
You shouldn't come around here. It's dangerous.
And Noah loses his shit a little bit. So apparently Noah's backstory is that this ship is his. He and his friend crash landed years ago. And then his friend went off to find like a crystal to replace the one that broke that they need to run their ship, and never came back, and Noah's just been a hermit in the woods ever since. Very sad for Noah. So that night they're all just having a dance party, old school style, in Noah's house, which just keeps adding to my theory that this movie is basically just Snow White. Gives off those vibes, you know what I mean?
Do you think Salik is dead?
I think so, but now he must be.
My family is too.
She's like, hey Noah, is your friend dead? And he's like, probably. And she's like, yeah, it sucks. Everyone I know is dead too. Poor kid.
They're not gone, you know. Right here in your heart. Did you know that?
Yes, you did. That's the last thing your dad told you. Before he died.
Can you remember the last thing your father said to you? What?
I'll always be with you.
Oh, it was that thing that you just asked me if I knew. That I said I didn't know. I can't be too hard on her. She's a little kid and she's been through a lot.
Tell me about your mother. What do you remember about her that makes you happy?
She used to sing me a song.
She sings this little lullaby.
My star keeps me company and leads me through the night.
Adorable. And then the next morning she sneaks out on her own and Wicket wakes up in a panic because he can't find her. Yo, not cool, Wicket. Also, he had a very delayed reaction from having cold water thrown on him when he was fast asleep. So they go looking for Sindel, who is now following this creepy singing that happens to be singing the lullaby she was singing last night through the woods.
Hello. I've been waiting for you.
Picking up very sketch vibes.
Come to me, my little one.
I'm getting all kinds of Stranger Danger vibes. Just run, kid. So because nobody taught Sindel Stranger Danger, this sketchy lady in the woods turns into this sketchy witch lady from before. And then she just straight up kidnaps Sindel.
You go upstairs now and get my rope.
So now Noah's like, ugh, I guess this is a rescue mission now. Let me go get my rescue mission coat. She takes Sindel back to this castle, which I think I said this when I covered the first movie, but the sets just don't look like they were built for Star Wars. They don't really give off that vibe. They feel like they were built for some like fantasy thing and then just used for Star Wars. I'm pretty sure Austin McConnell also touched on that when he covered these movies a while back. It's weird. That kid looks so offended.
So, my little princess.
Ew, don't call her that. Leave this poor girl alone.
What have you done with the Ewoks?
Ewoks?
My friends. Where are they?
Ah, the Ewoks, of course.
Where are the Ewoks? The what? The Ewoks. I'm not going to give you any more clarification than that. Oh, you mean the Ewoks?
I won't hurt them. Not if you make this work.
So they give her the power and then they tell her that she has to get it to work with her magic?
Use your magic.
I don't know anything about magic.
Very confusing. And then the creepy king is just like, you got until morning to figure out how to get this to work, kid, and if not, I'll kill you.
And you will follow her in her fate.
You are my lord.
And then he looks at the witch lady, he's like, I'll kill you too. And she's like, what? Meanwhile, the boys are on a rescue mission.
The power. You must know how to unlock the power.
This isn't good for anything. You just have to plug it into something.
I like they're sitting in jail cells and the lady's like, we need your magic to get this to work. And the kid's like, you got a USB cable? I don't know what to tell you, lady. And then she points to the skeleton in the corner of the room. And apparently that's Noah's friend, so rest in peace, Noah's friend. He got killed by the evil king guy over this power source too, so not cool.
Wicked. Swim.
You see that? That could have been you little beggar.
Noah kind of has the same energy as Bobby from Supernatural. Just kind of grumpy, but like really a big softie at the end of the day.
Go!
Okay.
Yeah, try to make a little more noise while you're sneaking in, Wicket. Oh, I also wonder, like, how problematic it was when they, like, got the puppets wet, you know? I feel like they could get moldy that way. Ugh. Whee!
Cinder, Ewoks, through door.
What door?
The one big door that's right there, Noah. So they've made it into this castle, into like the big main room where like all the bad guys are like hanging out and eating, I guess. And then also they're holding Sindel and the rest of the Ewoks captive like right there. It's like a dining room dungeon 2-in-1. So here in Atlanta, our houses often have you have to go through the bathroom to get to your closet, and you're like, oh, that's a really weird and inconvenient way to lay out a house. And I guess the Star Wars version of that is like, oh, we put the dungeon right next to where you eat. So they screw around trying to get around these bad guys. There's just so much in this movie and the one that came before it. There's just so much footage that did not need to be in here. But anyway.
Teak!
Sindel, don't blow their cover. So they pull the old, make these two villains think that the other one is cheating at cards until they kill each other trick. Classic. So they get Sindel out, they get the Ewoks out, and then the witch lady's like, hey, can I also come out now, please?
No, not her! She's evil!
And Wicket's like, okay. And then Sindel's like, hell no. It's like kind of harsh, but she kidnapped her, so I don't really feel bad at all. Every time he runs fast, it just trips me up. So they go running through this Dungeons and Dragons looking castle. And the bad guys can't manage to catch them because they're all idiots. And they escape via zip line, which I think they also did in the first movie. I can't really remember. I'll have to go back and look. But I'm pretty sure that's what they did in the first movie at some point.
I'm sorry about your friend Salak. They killed him for the power thing.
So Sindel's like, hey Noah, that skeleton is your friend. Sorry.
No, no! It's mine.
And so Noah takes the power thing that they want, and Witch Lady's very upset about it. There's more, like, yelling and escaping and bad guys falling down. It's funny because some of them are wearing masks, but it's, like, obvious that their actual face is a mask, so it's like they're wearing a mask and then another mask. It's kind of like in that one episode of Hannah Montana where she was stuck as Hannah, so it was like Miley Cyrus wearing the Hannah wig, but then wearing the Miley wig over it. It was like two wigs at once.
No!
She thinks they're gonna kill her, and then they're like, no, you dumb idiot. We need your help. She's like, okay. I'm feeling what that Raven's feeling. So now all these poor extras dressed in just so much gear are running across this field. There's a lot of running and other various hysterics, and then they get back to the ship.
Okay, now let's power up this old tin can.
He puts the power thingy into the ship and starts like messing with it to try to get the ship working again. And I'm not sure what he actually says here. It sounds like he says fuck. I'm positive that's not what he said. But that's what it sounds like. I've listened to it a bunch of times. You leave him alone. That's right. That's what you get. A bunch of things happen. Not much of it needed to happen, but a lot of it happens. The Ewoks throw a bunch of like logs and stuff at the bad guys in like a weird Donkey Kong gone wrong setup. I don't think that guy got shot. I think he just was like, well, guess I'll die. Ooh, all the stop motion creatures are impressive but terrifying.
Oh no, they're coming on the other side.
Now!
So they get the ship running, and then they fire up all their guns, and I love this scene because instead of like at the end of a lot of other Star Wars movies where there's like, you know, a chase through space where they're flying or whatever, they're just sitting stationary on the ground, just like pew pew pew, just shooting at all the bad guys. It's really anticlimactic. Don't go running into a battlefield, kid. Okay, it was for Wicket, it's warranted.
Everything's okay now.
But she gets captured by the creepy king guy, and so he tries to trade her back to Noah for the power source.
I am waiting, old man.
You let her go!
Yeah, no, I don't think you understand how trades work, sir. I'm completely on your side, but I don't think that's gonna work on this dude. And then they have this very weird sword-ish fight. The Ewoks are just like in the corners of the forest, like fight, fight, fight. And then he's about to kill Noah, and then Wicket hits him with a rope and knocks the little ring thing loose. And as soon as he does that, he disintegrates. Or petrifies. I guess he just like freezes into a stone statue, but whatever.
Say now, you come back from there.
And then everybody's safe, so Noah's saying goodbye to the Ewoks because he's gonna take Sindel with him. He's like her adoptive parent now. It's very cute.
What do I say to you? Friend?
And this little guy is being left behind to live with the Ewoks. I'm not sure why, but he is.
Oh, Wicket, you're my very best friend.
Best friend, best friend.
And then Sindel says goodbye to Wicket, which low-key actually kind of makes me kind of sad. Oh, and then they take off in their ship. And that's the end. I honestly don't know if this one is better or worse than the one that came before it. Neither one of them are what it would be considered good movies. This one at least feels a little bit more cohesive, even though they killed off 3/4 of the family that was so important in the first movie. But, you know. This movie and Caravan of Courage, the first Ewok movie, are both on Disney Plus now. So if you're a subscriber of that, watch it for yourself. If you've got time and you want to be bored / slightly horrified. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. I know that the last video just completely had its comments disabled. I never figured out why, and I never was able to get them back on, so I'm sorry for that. But thank you guys for supporting that video and checking in on me and making sure that I was okay and everything. You guys are really super cool. I'll link that video down below for anybody who maybe missed it, because I'm sure with no comments it didn't get promoted the way that it usually does. But anyway, thank you guys for supporting the channel regardless. I really appreciate you. And thank you for, you know, being here for this past year, whether you've just got here or you've been here the whole time. I really, really appreciate you guys. So thank you. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around because I post nonsense all the time. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so, because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. May the 4th be with you. Ooh, and on the other side of this mug, Yoda.